Sup, it's Marie, and this is a bee. This bee is from Minecraft, and he's so cute and chunky that I want to have one myself, so I'm gonna make one. And I guess the best way is to make one out of resin, and an even better way is to make it out of 200 tiny cubes. So first off, I made this really complicated plan. Looking at it now, I don't even understand it anymore, but it works, kind of. First off, I'm gonna start with the brown stripes. So I'm gonna need to make a shitload of brown cubes. So first up, I'm gonna mix some resin, 2 parts epoxy resin and 1 part the other stuff. Hardener? Yeah, we go with that. Mix it up really well. This always takes so long. But you gotta make sure it's mixed really well or else it won't harden properly. Then I'm gonna try to mix together brown color, and at this point in time, I didn't have any brown color yet. So I need to mix one. And I thought I knew color theory. Turns out I don't, because this took a long time. Somehow I made it work in the end, and the brown color looks pretty good. But yeah, maybe make sure to get some brown resin color. That's much easier. So this is a mold for tiny ice cubes that I bought. Look at it, it's so nice and clean. It's not gonna stay that way, but for now, it looks nice. So I'm filling it up with my brown resin, and it's already looking like a mess. But one day later, the resin has cured and the mold looks like a mess. But now I'm taking the cubes out of the mold, which is also not very easy. And look at these cubes. Don't they look delicious? Please don't eat resin, it's not good for you, but they do look tasty. Oh yeah, look at those cubes. They look like jelly. Jelly that you shouldn't eat. Forbidden jelly. Anyway, so I'm done with those cubes. Now I'm making the yellow part of the bee. So again, I'm mixing up 2 parts resin, 1 part the other stuff. And this time I actually have yellow color, so that's nice. I'm mixing together a few different shades of yellow to get the exact bee shade TM. And this is what it looks like in the end. Delicious, like banana milk. Everything looks delicious. Don't eat any of this. So I'm filling the mold again with the amount of cubes that I need, with a few extra. And I have some resin left over, so I'm dividing that into 2. I'm mixing one of them with white and the other one with a darker shade of orange to kind of make like the shading of the bee, so it looks a bit more interesting, I guess, and it's not just, you know, plain yellow stripes. So here are the yellow cubes. Again, they look delicious. And also, apparently I lost my nail polish on one of my fingers. Don't know what happened there, just ignore that. But here are the cubes, they look delicious. Sexy cubes. Yeah, ooh. Okay, so next up I'm mixing up some blue resin, only wearing 1 glove, that's useless. And I'm mixing up some black resin. This is for the eyes, so I only need a few cubes each. So this is what they look like, if you don't drop them all over the place. God damn it, get it together. So at this point, I'm looking at my plan again and I realized, hey, something's not right. I'm missing one of the shading colors. I only made 3 different shades of yellow, and according to this note, I guess I need 4 different shades, and I'm not entirely happy with how orange they are either, so I'm mixing up a new batch of resin, this time mixing them into better colors. They're a little less saturated, a bit more brownish, so the bee doesn't look too orange. And these are all the cubes in the end. They all look tasty as fuck, and they're all inedible as fuck. So next up, I'm taking the cubes. So I'm laying down the cubes just to make sure that they're all in order before I glue them together, so I don't make any mistakes. And you can already see the face of the bee. That rhymed. It's looking pretty good. So next up, I'm gluing the cubes together. This is very tedious. Took a long time, but it's coming together slowly, one by one. And yeah, fun stuff. Very exciting. Great. So this is how the face looks like in the end. I think it's looking pretty rad. It's not 100% perfect, but it's looking pretty damn cool, and you can definitely see what it's gonna be. So many rhymes today. So anyway, next up I'm making the sides. Again, I'm laying down the cubes in order before I'm gluing them together, making sure it's all where it should be. And these are the sides. They are looking pretty good. Oh yeah, and they're just the same, they're just mirrored, obviously. This is the top part of the bee, the lid, the bee lid. That's cursed. And this is the bottom. I don't actually know what the bottom looks like. I didn't bother to look that up because, well, I'm not gonna really see it anyway. And there's also the back part. And then, next up, gluing together all the sides to make the bee cube complete. And this was actually pretty fun because it's nice to see that everything lines up perfectly. Everything fit really nicely. I mean, there are a few gaps here and there, but I don't really mind. Nobody's perfect. No, it doesn't work. Anyway, so I'm gluing it together, and as you can see, it's hollow on the inside. That's because I didn't want to spend the rest of my life making little cubes and gluing them together. And it's not like you're gonna see that anyway. When it's all glued together, it might as well be filled. You could hide something in there. Maybe a love letter. Or your keys. I don't know, be creative. Do whatever you want. I'm not gonna stop you. So, gluing on the lid, the last part, and done is the bee cube. It's looking really funky without the legs and the wings, but it's looking really nice. I'm happy with it. It's a bee, yeah! Okay, next up, the wings, the legs, the antennas. So I made some white resin and some brown resin, and I'm not filling the mold completely. I'm kind of just filling the bottom, so I have some thin slabs. Because if you look at the bee, the legs and the wings, they're kind of thin. They're not complete chunks. So I just want some thin discs. Getting these out was a pain in the ass. But I did it somehow. Yeah! And then I had to file down the edges because they were kind of sticking up. And I only had this tiny ass file, so that took a while. God, another rhyme. What am I, a poet? Anyways, they're looking nice and flush. And now I'm kind of using my cutting board as a reference to lay down the wings in the right shape, make sure they're not crooked or anything. Repeating it for the other wing, and the legs and the antennas. Then I mixed up a batch of clear resin, and I'm kind of filling out the wings and gluing all the little cubes together, or the little slabs rather. Just kind of dribbling some of the resin on top of there to connect it. And that's it. Peeling them off was really, really fun. What is it about peeling that's so satisfying and nice? It's just good. And I didn't wait for the resin to harden completely. I kind of waited, I don't know, 7-8 hours. So it hardened, but it's still a bit flexible, so I could cut off the edges, as you can see here. And this is what it looks like. For the antennas, I had to leave a little bit of clear resin, obviously, otherwise you can't really connect these two pieces. And here are the wings, nice and shiny, looking good. Except for the black spots, but we ignore that. It's, you know, a bit of dirt, happens. Next up, gluing the wings on. I kind of struggled to find the right spot because three-dimensional thinking is hard. But I managed it in the end. Proud of myself. Good job, Marie. So I'm gluing them down. It's already looking so much better. The wings really add something. They just make the bee look so good. Then the legs. Yeah, so they're kind of thin, so they kept tipping over, and I kind of had to hold them in place until the glue dried. You can see it in the end that some of the legs are a little crooked, but you know, it's a charming detail. And this is what it looks like. Crooked legs, perfect wings. What a great bee. I am in love. Lastly, the antennas. Same problem as the legs, they kept tipping over. Also, apparently, I don't have any nail polish anymore. It's been a while. Yeah, not sure what happened there. I guess no more nail polish. That's fine. You can also see how the left antenna is kind of tipping over. Oops. And here he is. What a good boy. What a chunker. What a perfect lad. He is so handsome. Beautiful. What a beauty. And he can stand. Look at that. He can actually stand on his legs. Isn't that great? We love you. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. He's a good boy. So yeah, I hope looking at this beautiful boy makes you happy. because it definitely made me happy. Okay, bye!